I am Jeni Reitz, and I am a realtor here in Columbus. Have been in business for over 8 years now, and we came to Columbus over 20 years ago from the Chicago area. I was born and raised in a suburb of Chicago, and business is what brought us here. So my husband had a job that was transferring us here, and it was a great move. Really, we were looking forward to it. It's a lot different than the Chicago area in a lot of ways, and it was great. It's a small, big city versus a big city. So one of the things about living in Chicago is it's a very intimidating place. It's huge, massive. You turn down a wrong street and you end up on a one-way and you can't find your way out of the city. I could tell you so many stories from high school where we would just get lost. And here, Columbus is very manageable. It's a small, big city, like I said, so it's just easy to get around. 20 minutes, you're anywhere here in the metro area or suburb of it. And it's just been great. It's peaceful, it's quiet, it's just been a wonderful place. Hilliard, Ohio is on the west side of the city. It's a suburb. Anywhere I say is going to be 15 minutes from the center of the city because it's just the way Columbus is. And it's on the west side. It has grown so much since we've been here. When we got here, the funny story I always tell everyone is I needed a shower curtain and I needed a Target, right? Target. So there wasn't one in Hilliard. We drove down one of the main roads. There was a grocery store, like an all-in-one shop called Meijer, and there was a Walmart and a Sam's Club. And it wasn't the Sam's Club people are familiar with today. It was one that only sold tires and very few things. It wasn't like with the bakery and the clothes and all the things. So we went into Meijer, because again, it's one of those stores. It has groceries, it's got house stuff, it's got clothing, it's got all the things in it. And I asked the cashier where the Target was, and she had never heard of Target before. So I don't mean to be like, oh, Chicago, but it was really like, where did we move? They don't even know what a Target is. So anyway, but now there is one, and there's all the stores and all the restaurants, and it's just happened in the list. It's grown so much since we've been here. I am literally all over the place. And that is one of the things that I love about living in Central Ohio is, like I said, it's 20 minutes. You're on the other side of the city. You can go anywhere in a 20-minute drive. And I really, my buyers are all over the place. It's very rare that I'm only in one area. I will be mostly finding myself lately the last few years on the south and east side of Columbus. That tends to be where affordable housing lands right now. The northern part of the city is a little bit more money for your square footage. So I work with a lot of first-time home buyers. It's just what I really enjoy doing. And their excitement, that's my wheelhouse, is the first-time home buyer people, and that's where we are. We're south and east of the city right now. So yeah, all over. I back and forth and up and down. No limits to where I'll go. So another funny story, when I lived in Chicago, I had a job that was 45 minutes from where I lived, and that was a great commute. Everyone would be like, how did you get a job so close to where you live? 45 minutes one way. And when we moved here, the commute is just different. It's a smaller city to get anywhere. So after a couple of years, the idea of driving 15 minutes from my house to go to a store, like the Target that I needed, that was 15 minutes from where I live currently, I had to plan a whole day for that. God forbid I should drive 15 minutes to go anywhere. But I think now, as I am driving all over the place anyway, I'm back in that mode where 30-minute drive is nothing. You just do it. So there's a few stores on the east side of the city that aren't here. There's a shopping mall called Easton, and it's an outdoor shopping area, and they have a lot more stores. There's no area like that on the west side. There's some stores that I want to go to that are over there. So I will do that. Of course, we have traffic, but anyone who's lived in Atlanta or Chicago would laugh, keel over laughing at what people complain about as traffic here. It's moving. It's not a problem. Of course, there's those moments where you might stand still, but again, it's not, it's nothing like that. You're moving. You're constantly moving. There is a series of restaurants owned by Cameron Mitchell, and they are all very good and very high-end. And probably the favorite is the Fish Market, because I'm a seafood fan, and they just have wonderful food there. I also, in Hilliard, there's a newer brewery that opened that has some great fast food options. Not fast food in the sense of McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, that kind of stuff. They have a Mediterranean little storefront. They have an Asian restaurant too with dumplings and ramen, and Cheesecake Girl is there with desserts. So all the things. I've enjoyed going there too because it's an outdoor area as well. They've got the garage doors open, and on a nice day, it's just really, that's probably my favorite place right now to go. Thank goodness it's local. Yeah, so not the OSU, the Ohio State University, has actually the football, their sports are kind of what everybody does here. And even though it's college, the football is insane. Going tailgating and getting into a game is almost impossible if you're not a student or willing to pay hundreds of dollars for a ticket. But it's fun to go down to campus on those days, of course, because it's just so much happening. And they actually do a really great job with hockey and baseball. It's almost like these professional level things that you're going to, but it's college and it's only a few dollars for a ticket. So it's cool in that aspect. So that's always fun. There's always an opportunity for something going on campus. Well, I don't know if you know this about me, but I like horseback riding. And I started taking lessons a year ago, and it's pretty cool. Where I live in Hilliard, there's actually a metro park that has horse trails on it. So I'm not at that level yet, but there's a lot of boarding facilities right near that. So once I get my horse and I'm boarding it, I will be able to frequent that area too. But there's a lot of metro parks all over the place as well, and hiking, backpacking. My family and I love to do that, so that's something else we do. A lot of outdoorsy activities. There's literally within a couple minutes, or if you want more national park and like more terrain and hiking and that kind of stuff, there is great areas about an hour and a half south of Columbus. So there is the Athens area, there is Wayne National Forest, there's Hocking Hills, there's a bunch of really cool places you can go. In one of the videos I talk about Yellow Springs, where David Chappelle lives. That's a very cool area too. There's a lot of shopping and kind of more of a hippie vibe there, boutique-y kind of stuff, and that's a cool place. There's a lot to do in this area. There really is. And it's not too far. And I don't think an hour and a half is too far to go for kind of adventures. Oh, there's a couple cool places. Franklin Park Conservatory. It's part of the whole Metro Park system. It's the Franklin Park Conservatory. And that's they've got beautiful gardens and an indoor area that goes through 4 different climates, and that's a cool place to visit. There's also a museum called COSI, and that is geared more towards, I don't want to say small kids. There's an area for smaller kids, but it's science-based. And that is a really cool place to go as well if you were visiting here. There are, of course, the art museum is amazing, and everything's on a smaller scale. So it was interesting coming, again, from a bigger city. You're used to these massive things, but these places here are manageable and doable, and you can really enjoy and get a grasp of what is happening because it's not so overwhelming. I don't think any of them are overhyped. Each one, one of the things too that I love about this area is every neighborhood, every suburb, every part of it just has a different flavor to it, and it's all unique. You have this quintessential small town, downtown area in every suburb here. So Hilliard's got it, every single one of them. Grove City has an amazing downtown area. And with all the people in the last few years that have been coming here, they've really done a great job. Every area has really done a great job of improving and moving in new restaurants and moving in coffee houses and all the things that everybody wants. Walkability is not great here. So a lot of the suburban areas that were built in the 80s and 90s, that just wasn't what people were looking for. There's other areas where you can live in a house and you can walk to the restaurant on the corner. That's not necessarily going to be all of the suburban areas, but the downtown areas, you can get to them and then you can do your walking there. So it's interesting because a lot of people, that's a big buzzword now, is walkability. I want the walkability. Yeah, a lot of people do, but you have to remember certain times of certain decades that wasn't what was in style or what people wanted. They're just more enclosed. You can't, it's harder to get out and walk down to the wherever it might be. But the downtown area too, you've got so much improvement that's happened there. German Village tends to be this very quaint, they've got brick roads still, and the homes are all brick and stone and just so cute. They've got this bookstore that everyone wants to go to and the restaurants that everybody loves. It's very cozy and cute and comfortable feeling. And then Short North is very cool and hip now, and there's a lot of rooftop bars that they have down there and very high-end food, and you just get a different feel all over. You've got the Arena District, that's where the Blue Jackets play, and you've got a much more, what would the vibe for that be? I don't know, I think it feels much more city, so to say. It's more space, taller buildings, that kind of thing. It's cool. So what we did, I'll tell you, because my friends came from Chicago, and I actually threw this out to TikTok and said, all right, Columbus people, if you have people coming, where would you even take them? Because I wanted to see what everybody thought was that hidden gem, like what would be the cool thing to do. So my friends came, and we actually did. We went and ate in downtown Hilliard, and we walked from, their local cantina is a little taco place, and we walked from there up to the brewery and then sat outside. It was a beautiful day, and really Hilliard was a little hidden gem, this little downtown area. It was a lot of fun. And then we went to this great newer place in Dublin called Bridge Park, and that was in the evening, and we went up to this rooftop restaurant and bar called Vaso and had a cabana, and that was a lot of fun. They really enjoyed, it was just a nice relaxed day and evening. As far as hidden gems, I don't know that there are any hidden gems in the city. There's a lot of cool places to go. North Market is definitely somewhere I would take people. That is downtown. I was describing it to my friends, and someone said it's like food trucks, but without the food trucks. It's just these little restaurants and little coffee shops, and it's all enclosed and inside. And you can get any kind of food imaginable. Hot chicken to Indian to donuts to popcorn to, there's a Polish food stand. We get food from there all the time because I'm Polish. So that's a great place to take anyone. It's a cool indoor market that has tons of smells and cool things and vibe, and it's a lot of fun to go there. That's definitely a destination to go to and take everyone, because I've never seen anything like that. And Bridge Park for sure. If you're into shopping, definitely Easton is a great outdoor mall to go to. Yeah. So, not so hidden. This book, Secret Columbus, A Guide to the Weird, Wonderful, and Obscure, has a lot of hidden gems in it. And if you want the best open air view of Columbus, this is actually a lot of people in Columbus don't know this is here either. It is in the Rhodes State Office Tower Observatory deck. And the Rhodes building is actually, it's a secured building, but you can go up to the top floors in the observation deck and you will get views of the city. It's amazing. Yeah, that is definitely a hidden gem. And there are actually a lot of hidden gems in this book. So it's been a fun one to get and go through. And I think there's actually one for almost every city available. You know what? The diversity here. Columbus is a wonderful, there are so many cultures and so many people, and it is a friendly, warm city. It's this little diversity bubble. And it's really ideal. And I'm proud that my kids grew up here. And I don't think people really would expect that from a smaller Midwestern city, but it's the state capital. And there's a huge university here, one of the biggest, and it attracts so many people, and there's a lot of industry here now too. And it's just been a wonderful place to live and grow and make friends in and work with so many different kinds of people and so many different people. That's been surprising and one of the things I love, truly. When we moved here, my daughter was 5 and my son was 3. I feel very fortunate that they were raised here because, like I said, they had so many friends that, you know, of different cultures that I probably don't think they would have experienced otherwise where we had been. They had the small town experience in that they grew up with essentially the same people from kindergarten through senior year of high school. When I was in high school, and I don't know that this is good or bad, this is just a completely different experience. When I went into high school, there were, I think, 5 different middle schools that fed into that high school. You were able to make new friend groups, and I don't think anybody knew everyone. There's no way. There were thousands of people. Whereas my kids grew up with hundreds of people. And while, of course, not everybody would have been friends, but they really had that small town sense in that from kindergarten through senior year, they were probably still friends with friends that they had grown up with their entire life. So that was pretty cool for them. My experience in Columbus, I absolutely love living here. I don't really think that there is anywhere else I'd want to go at this point. With that said, I am always open to going somewhere. Like I could move anywhere and be happy. It would be home, so to say. But Columbus, there's a phrase that I often hear used with it as cowtown. And it's not that. It is a thriving city. There is a lot more here, I think, than meets the eye or what people would expect from a smaller Midwestern city. And there is a lot of movement from here to other places business-wise. And there's a lot of traveling back and forth. And I think there are certain areas that have these pipelines of people going back and forth. There's certain cities that seem to match up with each other, if that makes sense. A lot of people will live here and then they get transferred over to here, and it seems like a back and forth. And actually, I think that is also with the Columbus and Chicago area, and not just because we moved here, but when we were moving here, there were about 4 other people I knew from that area that were also moving here. So that was just weird. And it goes the other way as well. So you have access, easy access to a lot of different areas within a very short travel time. So it's easy to go exploring if you want, or if you want to travel to different cities, that's easy to do here. And like I said, there's a thriving city happening here, and there's been so much growth and so much industry moving in and so many people moving in and so much improvement to all the areas. I think a lot of people are very surprised when they actually get here. It's not just the small dinky place. There is, quite frankly, a lot here and a lot going on. Columbus isn't a cow town. Move here, you'll be happy. You'll be surprised.